We have tested the dogs at 0.25 gallons per minute, all the way up to 10 gallons per minute.
Wow.
Now, that is big range, kind of, you think. However, we've got dogs and teams that have gone out on leaks that are 9,000 gallons a minute. And so then when you start looking at that, we're talking billions of gallons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if we're talking like a swimming pool, how many gallons is like a swimming pool?
I'd have to kind of look that up. I know this because I say this all the time. I know that dogs are sensitive enough to one drop of chlorinated water in 20 Olympic-sized pools. And I know that's 30 million gallons of water.
Canine Detection Collaborative. We bring the conversation straight to you. Training tips and helpful hints you'll actually use. Real insights from real experts with a side of laughs. Canine Detection Collaborative is where it's at. It all comes down to just one thing, helping our dogs be the best they can be. Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi, everybody. I'm Robin Greubel with the Canine Detection Collaborative, and I'm here with my stupendous co-host, Stacy Barnett.
Hello.
We have an amazing guest today who I met at the Joint Symposium for Working Dogs conference a little over a year ago, which, by the way, you guys could do advanced registration for. The link to that's in the show notes. But this is Lolita Shaffer. And Lolita is with the Canine Pipeline Detection Association and a couple of other things. But that's where we're concentrating today. So, hello, Lolita.
Hello.
So, I'm super involved in all of the water leak stuff. And
I hear a lot about it and I find it really interesting. So I want to learn some more.
right. And so we have started seeing it get a whole bunch more buzz on social media and with the conference we just went to. So we thought we would have Lolita on and ask her all of the questions that we continually get asked.
I think we're going to have to start kind of at ground zero, right? Because for a lot of people, they might be going, wait, what? What are dogs looking for?
Yeah.
And like, maybe we can kind of start there and just kind of give a premise. Like when we're talking a water leak, we're talking what is leaking other than water, right? But what's leaking? Where is this leak occurring? And what actually are the dogs looking for?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Are you going to answer that? Okay.
No, I'm not answering that. That's your deal.
Okay. Well, the dogs are actually trained on the chlorine odor and the pipes that we all drink from. Every time you turn on your faucet, every time you go to the bathroom, every time you take a shower, all those pipes have treated water in them, unless, of course, you have a well. And even then, sometimes you treat it. But all of those pipes have treated water in them. And pretty close to all of them are leaking at some point, somewhere, sometime, all over the United States, literally all over the world.
So we're talking treated water, not necessarily water underground reserves or anything like that. We're talking specifically water coming out of pipes.
Yes, we're talking specifically treated water coming out of the pipe. So it's the chlorine that's in the treated water that happens at the plant. And then when it gets treated there and it's pushed through these pipes and it gets to the water meter, when you get your water bill, it's from the water meter to the house. That's paid for. But between the water meter and the plant, that's called non-revenue water that's leaking out of the infrastructure.
Which we still end up paying for.
Right.
Right? Because the more water they lose, the higher our bills go up.
Yes. AWWA just put out an article a little while ago that they're estimating that our water increases will be 424% in the next 5 years.
Wow.
Who's AWWA?
AWWA is American Water Works Association. They're one of the largest associations in the United States.
So Robin actually knew that answer, just so you guys know. She kind of teed up Lolita because I had said, hey, there's a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
And, we're going to have to cover that. And also, speaking from experience, I once had a water leak in between the water meter and the house. And luckily, I had line coverage because before I knew about it, it had leaked out 20,000 gallons of water.
Yeah, it can be very bad.
Yeah.
It's a very large industry, bigger than people can possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things, it was fascinating for me to really start thinking about, okay, the water comes into the plant and how all of it, the infrastructure side of it, because we don't think about water. You turn on the faucet or you flush your toilet and water just happens. And so it was really interesting for me to think about, one, there's a whole bunch of people out there who that is their entire job, is to make sure we have clean water.
Wow. Right?
There's a lot of people out there that's their job.
Right. Just how all of that works. So when you talk about the AWWA as an association, who belongs to that association? What do they do?
There is water operators, there's techs, they have all kinds of positions, everything for water treatment. They even have, they're not just strictly water, they're also sewer. And that even goes to another acronym of WPI, Water Professionals International. So there's all these certifications and licenses and things like that that are through the AWWA.
Interesting. And so when we think of, so people out in podcast land, when you think of water operators, these are the people who work at the water plants to do things like fix the pipes and monitor the amount of chemicals and everything that are in the water. And the interesting thing I've started finding out, and after talking to Lolita and all sorts of things, a lot of these people are retiring.
Yeah, 30 to 50% of them. Just so you know that I get the idea of how big AWWA is, there is more than 50,000 members. The utilities collectively provide drinking water to roughly 80% of North America's population and nearly half of North America's wastewater. So that is AWWA. They are the largest organization of water supply professionals in the world.
Wow. Yeah. Because I think sometimes we think about things like electricity and all that type of thing. We don't really necessarily think about water, and because there's, and how that clean water gets into our pipes and everything. And it's really interesting. You mentioned chlorine, right? And that the dogs they're finding chlorine. So Lolita, my undergrad is chemical engineering. So this is
fun.
Chlorine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Now I'm a dog trainer. And so anyway, so if I'm envisioning this, I'm kind of thinking of it like there's a leak in some pipe and it's out there. You don't know where it is. You just know it's between point A and B.
Yeah.
Right. And somewhere in there, and we probably want to talk about like what kind of rates of leaks we might be talking about. Because I think sometimes like in your head, you could be thinking like, oh, it's like a leaky pipe under my sink or whatever. And it's like drip, drip, drip. And I have a feeling that is not what we're talking about. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit. And the other thing is to kind of think about, now we're between point A and point B. And if we're not talking dogs, what do we have to do to find that leak?
Oh, there is all kinds of things that they use. They use infrared. Mostly they use acoustical equipment currently. And so when you're talking about even point A to point B, just to kind of give you a little bit of context here, it's point A to point B. You're thinking linear distance. Now you've got to actually add depth. So now you've got the depth of the pipe. There's 2 foot, typically. Some of them are surfacing. Most of the time they don't need a dog if
right.
it's surfacing. But we've done pipes as deep as 12 foot deep and it's 14 foot deep. So now you have that distance that you're talking about from point A to point B, and those leaks can range anywhere. It's all over the place, and they're not surfacing, and so that's the issue. So the chlorine
could be seeping into the ground, and so you don't even know. You just know that you're losing water somewhere.
Yeah, definitely losing water somewhere. And they can be huge and still never make it to the surface. They can hit, water is water and it does what water does. It can literally carve out the earth. That's literally, so there's aquifers, there's a lot. So there's aquifers and we pull water from these aquifers and the water literally can be leaking back into another aquifer somewhere. You never know. Or like where I live, into a lake and you never see it.
Wow. If we think like a moderate size leak, what does that look like? Gallons per whatever, hour, minute, like
hour, minute,
whatever. I don't even know. Like, are we talking drip or are we talking gushing?
It can be any of those, literally any of those. So we have a testing site here with a live leak field, and we have tested the dogs. Here I am a dog trainer now. We have tested the dogs at 0.25 gallons per minute, all the way up to 10 gallons per minute.
Wow.
Now that is big range, kind of, you think. However, we've got dogs and teams that have gone out on leaks that are 9,000 gallons a minute. And so then when you start looking at that, we're talking billions of gallons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if we're talking like a swimming pool, how many gallons is like a swimming pool? I'm going to try to visualize this for our folks.
Well, I'd have to kind of look that up. I know this because I say this all the time. I know that dogs are sensitive enough to one drop of chlorinated water in 20 Olympic-sized pools. And I know that's 30 million gallons of water.
Oh, all right. Right now, like order of magnitude just went boof.
Yeah. Because of course you've got your I guess circumference, well, not circumference, your measurement top down. And then you've got your depth and you
had no idea I was going to get you on and ask to do math, right?
Yeah.
No. Seriously. I got my calculator out and I just abandoned that right now. So the dogs are looking for chlorine, and chlorine is actually, I mean, although it gets added to water, it turns into gas very easily, right? So the chlorine is going to kind of come up to the surface or not.
No, chlorinated gases are actually heavier than air.
Yeah, they are heavier than air, but they go into the gaseous state very easily.
Yes.
I guess in the water itself may or may not actually get to the surface of the ground.
No, the gases do come up. So what happens to the chlorine, as chlorine's very edible by the environment.
Yes.
The environment loves it. And so the chlorine gases itself are heavier than air. However, everything else, there's all kinds of other gases that happen, as you know, as the chemist, that it will grab that chlorinated odor and bring it up to the surface because it's going to push up through the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's what the dogs are actually looking for.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is fascinating. So you're training your dogs really not to find water, but to find chlorine.
Yes, the chlorine gases.
Trying to find the chlorine. So you're actually trained. So these are actually for the water leak detection dogs are actually, they're detecting the chlorine. And I can imagine, and I'm just thinking of this in terms of concentration of chlorine, that in some situations it might be very small. In some cases, it might be a lot larger. And so when we start thinking about kind of the amount of odor that you really have to work your dog then on a very wide range of like the odor concentration. Like its odor threshold has to go kind of low and then also be on the higher side.
Yeah. Dogs are very, very good at generalizing on that one.
Okay. Yeah.
We suggest that you calibrate your sensor when you go out and you literally take the water directly from the system that you are getting ready you're deployed on, and you pour it out onto the ground, and you go ahead, now that you know where that's at, and you get your dog over there and reward your dog real good. Your sensor is now calibrated. And, when you train your dogs and the more pipe they're over and the more experience they have, the better they're going to get.
So this is really kind of getting me to the point that you can't just kind of go out and wing it. You've really you got to have the right kind of education going into this. I guess is where I was trying to go with that, is that this is a lot more complicated than it sounds like.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not just like, well, I'm just going to go out and pour some water out of my faucet and see if my dog can find it. Like the different permutations of what the dog might need to work through, the depth, right? The quantity of chlorine, then the dog's got to be able to work, smaller areas, larger areas. Like it's
when Lolita and I started first talking about this, right? I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot like working buried human remains.
Yeah.
Right. And because you have all of those different permutations of odor plus chlorine decays.
Yeah.
And you end up with chloramine.
Okay.
Which I didn't pay attention in chemistry class in high school, just so you know.
I don't actually remember that one. Is that like a more of a ionized kind of, I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a couple decades. I have to say, it's definitely been a couple decades. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to put you on the spot to answer that. We'll do some.
Because I'm a dog trainer.
We're dog trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're putting the dog trainer card. Dog trainer.
Right. And I just looked it up. So for people who are like, oh, well, that doesn't sound, I think Lolita said something about like 9,000 gallons a minute for a leak.
Could be, yeah.
Right. Could be. Right. Your average faucet is 2.2 gallons per minute.
Oh,
full blast.
So is this kind of like a fire hydrant?
Yeah.
Because I'm hanging out with firemen a lot now. So I can think about fire hydrants. That's a fire hydrant kind of deal.
Yeah, gushing, right? Because keep in mind, they have to pressurize the pipes so that your water comes out of your faucet.
Otherwise, we're going to have some really cranky people taking their shower in the morning. They don't have water pressure.
Right.
Right.
And so that's what you have to think about. And the bigger the pipe, the more pressure.
How big can these pipes get?
Oh, there's pipeline that we've been over 72-inch pipeline.
Choo!
Right. When we were at AWWA, shoot, I can't remember which company it is, had a 6-foot valve. So yeah, I'm standing in it.
Wow.
Or actually Flair sitting in front of it looking cute. But yeah, the pipes are huge. And the thing that always started fascinating me when I started thinking about this is that even though you fix the leak, next year the pipe could be leaking either again in the same spot or leaking someplace else.
Oh, yeah. It's like having an old house.
Right. Well, if anybody, why do we think rocks always keep popping up in places? Or if you live on a farm, like I do, and people have buried buildings on your farm, you're walking around and find the weirdest stuff that has.
You have like a chicken coop buried in yours, right?
Yeah, we've got a chicken coop buried off in one of the donkey pens. And the thing that just cracked me up one day is I'm out there feeding donkeys and I look down and there's a faucet.
No way. Someone like chucking faucets in your donkey.
It was just a random faucet.
I don't need this faucet.
I've even found bottles, right? Because you dig a hole and you bury stuff. The earth wants to spit things out.
That's nuts.
Including the pipes that we're burying for infrastructure.
Wow.
Correct. And so,
wow.
Right. It's always moving. And, like you see those pictures on the internet. Oh my God, a sinkhole opened up underneath these cars.
Well, so having all this, so I just lived in New Jersey, right? So this is I'm going off then. And this place called Mine Hill, right? Mine Hill. They were having sinkholes. And I'm sitting there going, Mine Hill. There's mines in Mine Hill.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of, yes.
But those typically in your infrastructure, all of it runs underneath the roads.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it, even the pipelines that go across country, let's say one of them's leaking, they talk about that mined hill. they just, water will take the path of least resistance and it'll just run down that mine and pop up somewhere else miles and miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Water's powerful.
It is powerful.
So one of the things that I found really interesting. So when we talk about acoustics, give us kind of like the lowdown on acoustics.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear about this.
Acoustics. Well, I found this study. I can't remember the date. I'd have to look it up. There was actually a live leak field that they put together to test acoustical equipment. Gosh, it was way back. I want to say 1987, but I don't think that's right. But anyways, doesn't matter. They figured out that acoustical equipment can hear leaking infrastructure, leaking pipes under the surface. However, it also hears everything else. And so that was its con. It can hear, gosh, some of them are so sensitive, you can hear an earthworm moving around 6 foot away. And so, of course, it picks up all the wind. It picks up everything, every bug, plane flying over, cars miles away.
Yeah, like road traffic.
Yeah, anything. I mean, you'd never hate crickets until you hear them through acoustical equipment. And so this acoustical equipment is very effective for the most part in areas that are a little bit more controlled, like sidewalks, flat surfaces. But these poor guys that are running these things, they're at a loss for being able to get spot on. And now if they get to narrow it down and they get to focus in an area, of course, they can turn off when the car drives by or whatever. So that's the acoustical.
Now, do they have to like triangulate? Like, do they figure out like different points and drop like different points of acoustics and then try to figure out and triangulate? It sounds like it might be kind of complicated.
It's very complicated. And of course, that's where the dogs come in.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and so, because Stacy, you're probably thinking of the Delsar.
I am.
Right. So
what's the Delsar?
Delsar in the urban search and rescue world, we actually take these little speakers, they hear, right? People can't see me doing the little.
Is it a cup on a string?
Actually, kind of. It's like this little thing
sort of.
sits on the concrete and they're connected together by wires.
Oh, so it is kind of a cup on a string.
Yeah. And then what happens is they are designed to detect vibrations. So think somebody buried in a rubble pile who is tapping on something to try.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And communicate that they're down there. And what we can do with the Delsar, and you are wearing the little headset and the whole thing, is you listen for the tapping and then you move the Delsars that are all connected to help triangulate into, hey, it's within this 6 foot area or whatever.
Wow.
And so it's a form of acoustics, but the thing that's been really fascinating for me is to go from that Delsar world over to the acoustics for water leak detection. And we're talking, it's a single guy with a single probe type of thing that they walk down a pipeline and are listening and putting it on the ground and trying to figure out, did they get closer? Did they get further away from the hissing noise?
Some of them are very, very good at it. And there's a lot of acoustical equipment out there that do specific training. I mean, these people, some of them, they spend years in training and they've been doing it for years and they're good at it for the most part, but there's a lot of pipe to cover.
Okay. How much pipe is there to cover, Lolita?
Oh, in the United States, there's roughly 2.2 million miles of drinking water pipe.
Oh.
How many times can you go around the world, the earth?
88 times. So to give you an idea.
That's just in the U.S. That's just in the U.S.
That's just in the U.S. Wow. 2.2 million miles of pipe in the U.S. And so give you like a little bit of context. You're going to go on a drive, you're going to go on a trip and you're going to drive there. If you drove 500 miles per day, it would take you 12 years, over 12 years.
That's a lot of driving.
That's a lot of driving.
That's a lot of driving. That's That's a lot of stops at the Loves.
Another fun thing is, you can go to the moon and back 4.5 times.
That's insane.
If you have a really special car.
Right.
So, and those pipes range anywhere from like the 72-inch pipes all the way down to typically, what are the size of pipes that come from the service to your house? Are those 1-inch or 2-inch lines?
No, for a house, a normal house could have a 3/4-inch pipe for their water supply. We have 3/4-inch, 1-inch, and then we also for our testing facility, we have a 2-inch supply. Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a question for you. How much water? So you have these 1/4-inch pipes on your leak field, right?
Yes, those are 1/4-inch pipes.
Okay. Which is typically what comes into our house.
Right.
And so how much is leaking out of them depends on how much PSI, pounds per square inch, or if you're Raven, it's SAS per square inch. But anyway.
Yeah, we gave her that.
Right.
She had a very, very high SAS per square inch.
She did. So does Belle. But the question is, at an average house, what PSI are they under? Do you know?
I would have to ask my master plumber husband, but I can look that up really quick. I want to say it's 20, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's not very much.
That's not a lot. No.
Right. But a leak that is, here's me. I'm like, okay. And I'm going to ask that probably gets back to the, 2.2 gallons per minute type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I know we were talking about one of the jobs that you were working that they basically could they were losing 20,000 gallons a day.
Yeah.
That's like a swimming pool, isn't it?
That's
like a swimming pool every day. Well, I guess it depends on how big your swimming pool is, but.
Yeah, I have a 24 by 48 foot swimming pool that's 4 foot deep and it's 35,000 gallons. Yeah. So that gives you an idea.
It sounds lovely though. Lovely.
It is lovely.
Yeah. Especially this time of year. Woo, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked up the pressure for a house. The average is 50 to 60s. So the minimum is 20. I knew I had 20 in there somewhere.
Okay. Well, I'm also thinking my tires on my truck. I have a big Nissan van and the front tires are 50 pounds per square inch and the back tires are 80. So we're talking that's a decent. Are you surprised I know that?
Well, actually what's kind of fun is
I'm proud of myself.
The bigger the tire, the lower the pressure.
That's true.
Yeah. And it kind of works that way with the pipe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's why there's pressure regulators on the meters.
Right.
What is the largest leak you've ever worked?
Oh, let's see. I would say that would have to be, I'm going to say it's Florida. We went to Florida. We had a pipeline on the side of an interstate.
In the middle of an interstate.
It was actually, they were widening the road and it was pretty crazy. They had 2 lanes of traffic that they, moved over. We actually worked the pipe. We got there at 3:30 in the morning. That's when the traffic was the lowest. And what was fun is there was multiple pipes. So it was funny because they were so can the dogs identify just our leak? And I chuckled and I was like, no way. That's not going to happen.
But that's not our leak. That's their leak. But I'm also laughing about Florida. And I'm like, yeah, but at 3:00 in the morning, you got the worst drivers.
Oh.
I spent some time in Florida.
I don't know that there's any time of the day in Florida that there's not bad drivers on the road.
Oh, yeah, but they go in shades of bad.
Yeah,
there's it goes all the way to the homicidal, which is the middle of the night. But yeah.
So I think that it wouldn't even hold pressure. And their pipe, the one that we worked on, was a 49.5-inch pipe. And they were trying to get it up to, I think they were trying to get it up to 300 PSI and they couldn't do it. They have these really cool AI balls that they use to find leaks as well. And these balls are very expensive, like $70,000 balls.
Wow.
They look have you watched Harry Potter with the little
Snake.
ball. What is that thing called?
A snake.
Yeah. They kind of look like that. Yeah, they're really fun. But anyways, this ball actually got stuck in the pipe. And so they called us.
Oh, no.
It was fun. And they were giddy when they
got their
called us
back.
Yeah. They were giddy when they called us and said, hey, we dug up the first area that, you guys marked, and it was a weld, and they were able to fix that weld. And as soon as they fixed that weld, they were able to pressurize the pipe. And when they pressurized the pipe, it actually surfaced where we marked the other one.
Nice.
And that leak was about 70,000 gallons a minute.
Wow.
A minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
You were filling your pool.
Yeah.
Wow.
In a minute.
In a minute. Twice in a minute.
Filling it twice. Yeah.
Wow.
It was sad because, of course, the crazy part is it wasn't surfacing. So, because Florida, I mean, come on.
Right. It's all underwater, right? Like it's all like it's just going to go down in the Everglades or whatever.
Yeah, something. Treating the ocean. I don't know.
Yeah. Alligators.
For everybody's like, well, what do you mean they can smell it in water? It's chlorine.
It's chlorine.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really interesting is it would be interesting to pull up a map of how many water pipes actually run through lakes.
Oh, it's a lot. I mean, we live on a lake and they run across bridges stuff, but they literally, there's a lot of pipe and it's easy for them to actually lay it. They just lay it.
Wait. In lakes.
In lakes.
Yeah.
In reservoirs. Yeah.
In reservoirs.
I know. I keep repeating myself because I'm just sitting here like my brain just blew up because I'm like, you could have treated water leaking into a lake.
And you'd never know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you would never know.
No.
Now, is that type of thing? Can you detect that with dogs?
Have you ever done a dead guy in water?
I guess. Okay. All right.
Yeah. You guys probably know more about
All
that.
right. I'm just sitting here like all of a sudden I'm like, and then after Robinson, I'm like, oh yeah. I understand.
Yes.
That was like a big duh moment here. Okay, I got it.
It's been really fascinating for me to come.
She's just looking at me like, duh. It just blew my mind because I wasn't picturing pipes and lakes.
Yeah. It's been really interesting for me to come from the human remains detection world where we're talking about, how hydrology affects how your odor moves and all of that sort of stuff. And now we actually have our hydrology carrying our odor again. And it overlaps. Then you put it in water and you're still going to run into thermoclines. You're still going to run into all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the dogs, just like they can smell really old human remains in deep water, they can do the same thing with chlorine. But you know what? Typically, maybe they know where the pipes are.
Right.
Well, they're supposed to, but.
So it's theoretical.
I live in Oklahoma, so I get this. We think it's between those two trees. And I'm like, that's like 80 acres. And the guy's like, no, more like 90. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good day.
Wow.
So, Lolita, how did you get into water leak detection?
Yeah. I'm curious.
Well, it's kind of a fun story. So my sister does human remains and she moved to Oklahoma before I did. I moved over here and I've trained hunting dogs most of my adult life, doing AKC hunt tests, doing the master hunting, doing all those things. Loved it. I loved hunting and I love watching the dogs. I've managed and been presidents of clubs and put on these hunt tests. I just love it all. And then I moved to Oklahoma and I lost one of my really good dogs. And I didn't even know you could lose a dog to a tick bite. So that was one of those. And at the same time, pretty close, I got his son back. And I hope that these people know what a great blessing that was. So I get this dog back and immediately I'm like, oh yeah, we got a nice master hunter dog here. And my sister's like, you should do human remains. And I'm like, no way. that's disgusting. I'm not doing that. And about that time, we're building this house. And she's like, you should listen to this podcast. You should try this. And I listened to the podcast of, I don't remember who did it, but it was the two ladies from Australia. Just so you know, since then, I've actually talked to them, and super nice ladies. And that's how I got started in water leak detection. And of course, you know, married to the master plumber and training dogs. And I just fell in love with the whole concept. I think it's great. And wonderful opportunity for lots of people to be involved. And so, of course, I just blew it up from there.
What does involved look like?
Involved look like. So involved look like it is a career. This is a profession. And it's a very serious profession where we are actually working with places or an association, WPI, like we talked about earlier.
Which stands for Water Professionals International.
That's right. They have 50 states, and outside of the United States, they're international, that they do the credentialing for testing, certifying water operators, wastewater operators. There's engineering. They do a lot of certification. And they have partnered with us, and we're building this from the ground up, and they're on 100%. And so what this looks like is, this is a career. This is a career. We've got some very, very good opportunities for teams to be able to do this and make a living at it. And the goal is 5 years from now, you should be able to work in this as a career and retire with full benefits.
So you mentioned certification for all the water operators.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that the dog's an important aspect of finding these leaks and everything. Is there a certification for water leak?
There is. We have one that we are working with, that we've created. And now that we've created this, working together with several other people, Robin's come and taken the certification. I hope I can say that.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
Yeah. I love saying this. Robin she's 2 certified teams, and one of her maternity leave. So
flashes out on maternity leave. Yeah.
I love that. But yes, we have the certification. And now that we have WPI that is on board, we're estimating that this will be a certification that is more like a license in the next year, that recognized internationally.
Wow.
And the interesting thing that's evolved for me in the whole process is because we're actually talking about credentialing, right? And we're credentialing teams. And it's not the handler gets certified, the dog gets certified or credentialed. I mean, you can do that, but then the team has to be credentialed as well. And there's continuing education requirements. And it is like, for those people, you know, Stacy, PE, professional engineer.
Yeah.
Right? You go through a credentialing process. You take tests.
Yep.
You have required continuing education, and you get to put those little letters behind your name.
Right.
Which
I never did.
Which you never did.
I never did.
But you know what?
But because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And they talked about that, even that in school. And like, if you want to go down this route, this is expected to be able to do certain jobs.
Right. But you went and got your Sigma black belt.
Yeah, I did that.
Which also has
master black belt. Master black belt.
There you go. Yeah,
don't take that N out of there. Just Lean Six Sigma master black belt.
Right. And what is being set up with the help of WPI is being able to apply that, because when you start working with water operators, they already see it. And WPI brings in this ability, because going out on jobs, I could get certified, and I'm certified and I live in the state of Iowa. But you know what? I'm also working jobs in other states. So now my credentialing goes with me and is recognized by water operators in other states.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why it's important for WPI to be recognized in this, because I did real estate for many years. And let's just use a realtor as an example. So you go get educated wherever you're going to get educated. Doesn't matter. You have to go take the test, but you take a universal and you take a state test. You are now in that state. If you are planning on moving to another state, you have to retest in those states. That's why it's so important, just like master plumbers, all of those things, electricians, all of them. So with WPI, it's now international. So you can cross state to state because it will be state required per that state.
Right.
Wow.
And like the water operators, they're getting credentialed by WPI. And so now a water operator in Iowa who's all of a sudden has to move to Colorado for family stuff, he doesn't have to start over, or she doesn't have to start over.
Nice.
And so that was one of those things that when Lolita and I started talking about this, I was like, this is really important because the canine portion is a very specialized field. And all of the people who I'm sure are listening to us understand the nuances. Dogs aren't hammers.
No.
You can't just lend them to your friend and they'll still work.
The certification isn't about proving that the dog can find a leak. It's about giving utilities confidence that the professional team can perform consistently, safely, ethically, and competently.
Yeah.
Truly.
Right. And wouldn't you know, we're using a lot of search and rescue. I mean, we're using Caltopo.
Love that.
GPS collars.
Love that.
Yeah.
Right. We're filling out 214s. That's part of the requirements for everything to go out.
That's awesome.
And so it's just been fascinating to put all of that stuff together, right? And to train the dogs to do it, because the interesting thing has been for me to realize that the water utilities have a hard time finding leaks. They really do, because the water surface is in weird places, and your acoustics people, they're very good, but they're slow.
Right.
Hi, everybody. We're going to take a pause there and actually go ahead and split this into 2 episodes. So make sure you start doing some research on how much water is being lost in your area of the planet, and come back next time for the rest of this particular episode.
Canine detection, collide.